The destruction of a land and of a culture is a terrible thing to see. Rather than raging at the Vandals, Alexandra Fuller has chosen to tell a beautiful and haunting story of the people who live and die there. This is how the story begins.
A Western. This is the story of Colton H. Bryant and of the land that grew him. And since this is Wyoming, this story is a Western with a full cast of gun-toting boy heroes from the outskirts of town and city shoddy villains from head office. There is a runaway Mustang and crafty Broncos. There are men worn as driftwood and salted women and broken-hearted oil rigs. And in this story, the wind is more or less incessant, and the light is distilled to its final brightness because of all the hundreds of miles it must cross to hit the great high plains. And the great high plains themselves, dry as the grave in these drought years, give more of an impression of open sea than of anything you could dig a spade into, a beautiful, drowning dryness of oil. But like all Westerns, this story is a tragedy before it even starts, because there never was a way for anyone to win against all the odds out here. There's no denying that, like the high seas, the high plains of Wyoming make for a hungry place, meanly guarding life, carelessly taking it back. No crosses count. Ground blizzards in the winter and dust storms and wildfire smoke in the summer, everything turning into a sameness of gray, so that between the edge of the road and the rest of Wyoming, between earth and sky, there are times a person has no way to tell the difference. And in this story, well, someone is always dying to make room for the next wave of people who are trying to find a way to get rich on all this impression of endlessness out here. Therefore, in this story, there is death, which is nothing new or old in Wyoming, and eventually we too, the storytellers and the story told, will go the way of the Indians, the buffalo, the cowboys, and the oil men. We too will make room for someone or something new, an unpeopled silence, perhaps.